Hi, first graders. Miss Cloutier here, and here's my dog, Lucky. Today we're going to read Angelina at the Fair. And our purpose for reading is going to be able to retell the story. Okay? So how many friends remember this retell card from school? Okay? I can retell a story by the setting, by the characters, by the beginning, middle, and end. So whatever happens in the beginning of the story, I'm going to summarize it and say this is what happened in the beginning, and then whatever happens in the middle, I'm going to take a summary and talk about it in the middle, and then whatever happens at the end, I'm going to talk about what happens in the end. Okay, are you ready? Angelina at the fair. Angelina at the fair. Illustrations by Helen Craig, and the story is written by Catherine Hollibird. All winter long, Angelina had been saving her pennies for the wonderful day when the fair would come again. When she wasn't busy dancing, she would sit by her window and daydream about the Ferris wheels and roller coasters. She liked all the most exciting rides. At last, with all the snow had melted and the wind was soft and warm again, the May Day Fair arrived in the town. Angelina's ballet class performed a maypole dance at school in celebration of spring. And Angelina almost flew around the maypole. She was so excited, and all the parents watched and cheered. So here she is. They're all dancing around the maypole. After the dance, Angelina was ready to go to the fair with her friends, but her parents stopped her. "You've forgotten that little cousin Henry is visiting today," said Angelina's father. "He will be very disappointed that he can't go to the fair with you." Angelina was furious. "I don't want to take Henry," she said. "I hate little boys." But Henry held out his hand just the same, and Angelina had to take him with her. The music from the fair had gone ahead. She grabbed Henry's hand and dragged him along behind her, running as fast as she could. At the entrance of the fair was a stand of brightly colored balloons. "Oh, look!" cried Henry. "Balloons!" But Angelina didn't pay any attention. "We're going on the Ferris wheel," she said. The Ferris wheel was huge, and Henry was frightened. But Angelina loved the feeling of soaring up in the air, and so they took 2 rides. Turn and talk to someone at home. Do you think it's fair that Angelina was only doing what she wanted to do? Okay. When they got off, Henry felt sick. But they cheered up when he saw the merry-go-round. "Look," he said, smiling. "Can we go on that?" "Not now," said Angelina. "We're going on the fast rides." She took poor Henry on the roller coaster. Henry shut his eyes and he held on tightly as the little car zoomed up and down the tracks. Angelina loved it and wanted to go again, but Henry wasn't sure he wanted to take any more rides at all. Then Angelina saw the haunted house. "You'll like this," she said, and pulled Henry inside. I don't know. Do you think Henry will like it? A big spider dangled just above their heads, and they went in. And a skeleton jumped out and pointed right at them. When they bumped into a ghost, Angelina reached out to touch Henry's hand, but he was gone. Oh my goodness. Where do you think Henry could have gone? Henry, Henry, Angelina called, but there was no answer in the darkness. Angelina hurried back through the haunted house trying to find him. She looked everywhere until she got tangled up in spider and had to be rescued by the ticket seller. Oh, jeez. Angelina didn't see Henry outside the haunted house either. She ran through the clouds looking for him. She ran past all the rides and all the games. But Henry was nowhere to be found. At last, she was worried and upset that she sat down by the entrance of the fair and began to cry. And there, watching the balloon man blow up the beautiful balloons, was Henry. Angelina was so relieved that she gave him a big hug and a kiss. "What is your favorite color, Henry?" she asked. Henry chose the blue balloon. "What would you like to do now?" Angelina asked kindly. Henry said he would like to go on the merry-go-round, so they went 3 times and they both loved it. Seems like Angelina had a change of heart. Afterward, they had a double chocolate ice cream cone and walked home, slowly together. "I like fairs," said Henry, and Angelina smiled. "You can come with me anytime," she said. And there they are, walking home. The end. Well, I think I give that read 2 thumbs up. So going back to my retell card, if I were to retell the story, I would talk about what's the setting. So where does the story take place? So where do you think that this story takes place? Well, if I'm thinking about the setting, I'm going to look at, where are they? I see Angelina is at the fair. Okay, and I notice here there's some merry-go-rounds and there's some tents. And if I were to flip through my book, a majority of my pages takes place at the fair. So if someone were to ask me where the story would take place, I would say the setting would be at the fair. Okay, the next portion of our card, who are the characters? Who are the 2 main characters in this story? So who do we talk about throughout the whole story? We have Angelina, and then if I went back into my book, my other character would be Henry. So the 2 characters would be Angela and Henry. Now, I want to talk about, what happened in the beginning of the story? So can you share what happened in the beginning of the story? So if I were to think back to the beginning of the story, I could also flip open my book if I was unsure. So in the beginning, it talks about how Angelina was so excited that it was spring, but her parents had asked Henry, her cousin who was coming to visit, to go to the fair with her. Angelina didn't like that so much. And in the middle of the story, Angelina goes on all the rides that she likes. But then what happens to Henry when they reach the haunted house? Henry goes missing. So now Angelina needs to go find Henry. Okay, so what happened at the end of the story? What happened at the end? Turn and talk to someone at home. What happened at the end? So if you remember at the end, Angelina had found Henry at the balloon stand. Henry picked out his favorite balloon, and then they went on rides that Henry wanted to go on. And Angelina decided that it was just as fun, and she would invite Henry to the fair next year. Wasn't that such a great read, first graders? Well, thanks for retelling a story with me and with Lucky, who's fast asleep. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for reading with me.